Originally a purposely built factory town, conceived on routine, the city of Lowell today is anything but cookie cutter. We are resilient, creative, rich in history, culture, and the arts. We are generations of hard workers and fresh thinkers. We are a mix of trolley tracks and the mighty Merrimack. A chance to eat, see, experience something new, and feel right at home. Welcome to Lowell, Massachusetts. Welcome to episode 4 of our video series, Lowell Current. I'm City Manager Tom Golden. In this episode, we'll delve into the heart of our city's operations, the Department of Public Works, or more commonly referred to as DPW. With over 200 dedicated team members across 5 locations, DPW provides essential services that enhance the quality of life for residents and visitors every single day. Let's start with the engineering division. They are committed to improving our roadways and pedestrian networks, enhancing ADA access, and implementing a comprehensive road preservation strategy in partnership with the Department of Planning and Development, or simply put, DPD. It's worth noting that the city has already started localized paving, and we are beginning significantly earlier than we have in years past. Localized paving is a process designed to pave smaller, more targeted areas throughout the city. This is great for repairing streets with spider cracking. Additionally, crack sealing and microsurfacing, 2 other methods of road preservation, are currently ongoing. Under DPW's umbrella, the public utilities wastewater and water ensure safe drinking water to our homes and our businesses. It also enhances environmental stewardship, overseeing hundreds of millions of dollars in infrastructure. Lands and Buildings manages the assessment and maintenance of our public buildings. Our public buildings total 3 million square feet. This includes overseeing new construction, mechanical, electrical, plumbing upgrades, and building exterior maintenance across our entire portfolio. Including in this is 10 Massachusetts School Building Authority projects. I'd like to take a moment to explain a bit more about MSBA, which has been a key partner in our efforts to improve our school facilities. The MSBA's Accelerator Repair Program, or ARP, reimburses nearly 80% of all eligible costs for the projects, making the return on investment significant. The MSBA has approved critical projects in 7 schools: the Bartlett School, the Butler, McAuliffe, McAvenue, the Robinson, the Shaughnessy, and the Wang. The improvement projects will replace inefficient boilers with modern fuel-efficient systems, resulting in up to 96% fuel efficiency. In addition, new roofs with reflective membranes and increased insulation will further improve energy efficiency. As part of our sustainability plan, all roofs are designed to be solar ready, allowing for future installation of solar arrays and further reducing our carbon footprint. We are proud to partner with the MSBA ARP in creating modern, energy-efficient learning environments that will increase the comfort of all of our students and especially our staff. Additionally, the Solid Waste and Recycling Division, in partnering with the Lowell Public Schools, thanks to the support of the Mass DEP's Green Team program. With the many recent changes in what items are being thrown out or segregated into a recycling stream, we are working with students to guide them through the process of best practices and reducing our solid waste output. Students learn proper methods of recycling, how to choose low-impact packaging, and what it all means to our planet. The goal is to lead our residents by example and create 16,000 ambassadors with good habits that they will bring home. Speaking of sustainability, As of last year, there's a sustainability division within our DPW that has already made significant strides in promoting measurable cost savings while improving systems across the city's asset portfolio. Through conservation projects, negotiated energy rates, and securing incentives and grants, Lowell has been recognized as a climate leader for the sponsors of Mass Save, and a leading by example recipient from the state's Executive Office of Environmental Affairs. Parks and cemeteries and streets and electrical are also divisions that live within DPW. They cover the upkeep of our parks, pedestrian walkways, and roadways. They repair streets and sidewalks, maintain our beautiful recreational areas, support cultural activities, and then remove refuse and ensure public safety during power outages and traffic accidents. Across all of these divisions, a common thread is how critical it is to secure the right equipment. DPW is in the process of updating a fleet that is close to 30 years old. Some ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act funding, has supported the acquisition of new street sweepers to help maintain the city's vast catch basin network. There is a new trash truck that can better maneuver within our urban environment. 3 VACONs, 10-wheeler dump trucks, great all-wheeled excavators, specialized vehicles that help improve our overall efficiency and effectiveness. Join us next as we sit down with DPW Commissioner Paul St, whose leadership guides these extensive and essential operations. But before we speak to Paul, let's take a moment to hear about Lowell Parks and Conservation Trust, an organization also committed to ensuring our city's natural spaces are accessible, enjoyable, and cared for. Please stay tuned.
The mission of the Lowell Parks and Conservation Trust is to improve the quality of life for the people of Lowell through the creation, conservation, and preservation of parks, open spaces, and special places. We think of our work as creating community through conservation. We'd like to create more access to nature, and there are several ways that we do that. We'd like to protect special places, so places like the Spalding House, Hawk Valley Farm, Concord River Greenway. We think about conserving nature. We do work with turtles, anadromous fish. We have a lot of community conservation projects where residents of the city are getting out and helping us look for really interesting indicator species out in the nature of Lowell. Like, you wouldn't believe that we have bobcats and coyotes, but also the smallest little things like dragonflies and damselflies. We also work really hard to help engage our next generation of stewards. We work with youth in grades K through 12 at 13 Lowell public schools, and we are providing afternoon environmental education through the after-school programs in partnership with Mass Audubon. And then we also really feel like people need to be connected to each other out in nature, and that can happen through a variety of programs that we offer, from maple sugaring to wildlife tracking, but also we're working steadily to build new trails in the city and connect trails and close gaps in our regional trail network. One of our signature projects is to enhance the passage of fish in the Sudbury, Assabet, and Concord River watershed. There are several obstacles to fish passage in Lowell, and so we're working specifically at Centennial Island. Every spring, a number of herring move up the Concord River, and we have a volunteer monitoring program to count those fish, and that's all in the effort to help improve passage upstream, up in the areas of Sudbury, Billerica, and such, because we'd like those fish to be able to access one of the largest untapped riparian areas in all of New England. The Lowell Parks and Conservation Trust is also very active in regreening our city through the planting of trees. Through the Lowell Parks and Conservation Trust, we can work with you to plant trees throughout the city, but there's also a new program called Greening the Gateway Cities, and you may have heard about this program where the state will come in and plant a tree on your property. So we're trying to tackle improving the city's tree canopy at all angles. One of the more unique outdoor opportunities that we provide is whitewater rafting on the Concord River. The Concord River has 3 sets of rapids that are class 3 and 4. It's the best whitewater you can get outside of Western Mass or Northern Maine. We do that in partnership with Zor Outdoor every spring. And it's a really beautiful way to see the river. You will see the city like you have never seen the city before. We invite you to join us at any time for any number of our programs, whether it's joining us for a film screening, a school vacation program, a tour of the Spalding House, a walk along the Concord River, or our rafting program. Please check out our website at lowelllandtrust.org or find us on social media. Thank you so much.
Welcome back to episode 4 of Lowell Current. I'm City Manager Tom Golden. Today, I'm joined with Commissioner of DPW Paul St. Paul, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I am doing excellent, excellent. Just taking an opportunity to introduce yourself to the folks. How long have you worked with the city, in what capacity, things of that nature?
So I came to the city about 6 years ago as an employee with the school department, working in their facilities group. I spent the next several years there. About a year ago, November, I did make the change over to the DPW, and life's been great.
What are you involved in day-to-day operations? How many different departments are beneath you? And just on a very over the top, just seeing from 30,000 feet down, how many departments and what is your day-to-day operations look like?
So there's 10 different divisions of the DPW. Many of the things that we do there within those 10 divisions, between water and wastewater and solid waste and recycling, parks, cemeteries, the list goes on, run in the background really of the city, of people seeing things every day, and how do the streets get fixed, or trash isn't a problem until it's a problem. So it touches people's lives in a lot of different ways.
So start your day, 6 a.m. How does this look? And I suppose we would need to remind the audience, right? There's a difference between your summer schedule, let's say, as well as then you roll into a winter storm. So just in a spring, summer, things a normal day. What does it look like?
So the day starts off very early. The first group is really in for 7 o'clock for most of the divisions. My day usually starts right around 6. The phone starts to ring. There are things that are coming in that are being reported. It could be something coming in from the police department. It could be coming from one of the utilities and so on.
Or a pesky city manager calling you at 6 a.m. sometimes.
The city manager might give a call. And then from there we really usually have the days laid out the day before, but we do also have to react to some of what may have happened overnight. So depending on the different division, whether it's the street department or lands and buildings, we triage and take up those measures. If they have to be dealt with that day, we do. Otherwise, we move them into what the work plan is going to be and who we actually have in to work for that day. Now,
we're just finished, we hope, so far, our winter month. Our winter months.
Right.
But so what happens? I mean, obviously when we're looking at the weather, we plan appropriately, try to put some salt on the trucks, put the trucks in the garages just in the event that there could be a freezing going on. But let's say at 2 a.m. something's happening, the men and women that we call in to find out, how does that happen? What goes on through that day? Is that something that the employees are prepped for before they leave for the day? So on and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. So we always have an eye on the weather. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. They can affect us at any time, but certainly through the winter, looking at the way temperatures drop, we will keep people on through the night to measure the temperatures in streets and bridges and things like that. Occasionally we'll have that kind of glazing over that'll happen even without having precipitation. So depending on what's going on any given day, that way the guys are usually prepared to come in. We try to have ourselves in a position where we're ready to go. It can stumble upon us. We have the trucks ready to go.
So when you're talking about challenges, we had a challenge, right? When you and I almost started at the same time.
Right.
We had a challenge hiring people. We had a challenge with equipment. Can you talk to the hiring process and how things have been going thus far?
So we're in a better place today. There's no two ways about it. We were at a huge deficit as far as strength of people. We've added several people. We've been putting them through different training. We have a CDL class that's going to be starting in a couple of weeks, getting some of the people in streets their CDL licenses and so on, and another one from water and wastewater. So that's really been helpful to getting those holes filled. We've also identified some other places where we've moved some positions around to be more strategic about what we would use them for. I would say from the lands and buildings side, we're certainly looking for for people there. The trades, it's been a very hot market for that, and so those are difficult spots to fill. And with over 3 million square feet of space, there's a lot of work.
3 million square feet. So 3 million square feet of space in all of our buildings.
Right.
That's pretty. That's a lot.
There's a lot.
Some of the equipment we've been dealing with, and I know that you've inherited, and as I have as well. Some of this equipment is 30 years old.
Exactly.
What are the real challenges with the equipment, and not just buying it, but actually getting it to be delivered?
Right. The lead times have been just off the charts, and even as you get into the middle of the buying process, we find that there are some of the manufacturers are actually canceling orders and moving into the next year, and it puts us in a disadvantage from some of the rules that will be changing with how engine emissions are going to be affected in 2026. So we're really kind of under the gun to get them in and registered soon.
So the lead time, though, I mean, you just can't show up to the local dealer and just buy a 10-wheeler.
Easily well over a year. Easily.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So even some of our 250s, our 350s, the 550s, and I'm talking in Ford models, and there's, but just the basic everyday truck is still a lead time of, could be months?
Easily. Between 5 and 6 months for a daily driver, a utility truck, a pickup truck, a utility box. Getting into anything that's a specialty, you're still talking well over a year, whether it's a bucket truck, a packer, 10-wheel dump trucks, any of the heavy equipment, grade alls, you name it.
And we're still waiting on a couple of those, what we call hill trucks, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's been a year and a half?
A year and a half. We're got our
fingers crossed
for July.
Right. But those two trucks, obviously, I think they're 12-wheelers maybe 10s. 10s.
Yep.
And that stuff has been ordered, ready to be paid for, but we just can't get it because of supply chain, and they're just not ready.
Exactly. And there are two parts to it too, because really when you're purchasing the vehicle, you might be buying an international 10-wheeler, but then it has to go for all of its upfitting even once it delivers. So you're having a truck body put onto it, or a boom truck, or different things that way, that the upfitters are struggling to keep up as well, because they have a mile-long driveway just filled with vehicles waiting for the work.
And if anybody's driven by the local dealership that used to have hundreds of vehicles, they're now seeing that there's not as many vehicles as there were in the past. And our mechanics, our mechanics are doing a great job keeping them on the road. So make sure we give them a shout out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they've been great, especially going through the winter. It's constant during a storm.
You and I have been out there in the early mornings and later at night,
yes,
and the mechanics are out there working hard, working under those trucks in a very time-sensitive time. It's very time-sensitive to get those trucks back out there to spread the materials that we usually use, assaults and whatnot. But as far as all of those challenges and the extensive experience that you have with your past employment, with dealing in buildings, dealing on roadways and things, if somebody were looking to get into this track, this career track, what would you say to them? What could you do? How do you do it?
Well, I think you have to kind of have a passion for that kind of work in the first place to find that work interesting, because I think there are a lot of details that are involved, and it's not something that you can just mail in. So I think, number one, having a passion for it and being willing to have a sense of ownership around it, that you're treating as if it was your own, I think goes a long way in being successful at it. I mean, I think for the end users, it becomes very noticeable when they see the details actually happen, or the follow-up that happens, or that processes are put in place.
We really just started. We retooled the HVAC folks. Can you tell me just a little bit about that? I mean, what we've been putting out, or not in numbers, but at one point we were pushing everything out to vendors, and now some of the stuff we're bringing it back in, and we're seeing a little bit of a savings, a little bit more quality. Can you speak to what we're doing to HVAC? And we could get into Catherine Moses, who I know that if everyone's interested in that, we've talked to Catherine in episode 2 or 3. But the HVAC, how are we doing there?
So it was a place that we saw an opportunity to be able to blend sustainability and the efforts that they put together with the HVAC technicians. And one of the big reasons around that is obviously the energy component that goes on within sustainability. And being able to address things in a very timely way, we found prior to that we were kind of operating in silos, that there may have been projects. So oftentimes with all of the work that Catherine and her group has been doing with grant funding and so on, and those kinds of programs, there were kind of artificial silos that were happening. So as some work was going on in a building, Other work was going on through the former energy group, as now blended as sustainability. Having those two paired and getting through and being able to validate that work, even from some of the grant work that she does with her group, has been great. We've gone through retro commissioning, and it's flushed out some places that were missed with the retro commissioning process. And that just leads to more efficiency. I mean, I speak to just one example of the pilot school that we did at the Morey School. With going through that process, in the first year, number one, it was about $100,000 worth of work. It was $85,000 in rebates, thanks to her group, being persistent with.
So it was going to cost us $100,000 to do this.
Correct.
And because we brought our HVAC folks in with our sustainability group, they were, writing those grants, putting this together, they picked up $85,000.
$85,000. Right. So the net to the city was a $15,000 bill. And then in the very first year, we saved $73,000 in electricity at that school.
That is unbelievable.
How can you not do that?
Exactly. That is absolutely unbelievable. And
Right.
that's just one piece. And I know that we've been taking stuff from putting it out to bid, and our HVAC technicians have been really tough. Now, granted, our plumbers have been doing this. Our electricians, I can't speak enough about them. Our everyone is really stepping up, making it happen. We're getting them the equipment as well as the tools, I think, is the most important piece to make that happen. But some of those savings, bringing Catherine Moses and her team over, is really making a difference. And within years to come with MSBA, which we talked about previously, this is stuff that is really cutting edge, and the City of Lowell is really taking the lead on this, I think.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Between that and the plans for solar coming, and really having that strategic plan and moving forward with, as you said, with the MSBA program and the boilers and the new roofs that are going on with every MSBA program, and certainly at our insistence as well. All of the roofs will be solar ready. So it's really kind of laying out the breadcrumb trail for where we'll be going next. So I mean, the opportunities are great. Thankfully, somehow Catherine and her group, they're tireless. I don't know how she does it, but we're certainly.
Well, so are you, and so is everyone else in DPW. But I think the council in general is very impressed with what has been happening with the schools. I mean, it's really the first time. It's a renaissance, I would like to say, in the amount of monies we're putting back into schools, our own capital monies, as well as MSBA, ARP monies, as well as the number of grants that we're applying for. And I attribute that to your leadership and everything that you're doing at DPW, and of course working with DPD. The Assistant City Manager, Baez, has been doing a great job with that. There are no silos any longer of you're only doing this and we're going to do that and no one's going to talk. And I think that's breaking down those silos is what's bringing us to these types of savings.
Right.
What's your favorite thing about the City of Lowell? Is it the restaurants or the parks? What would it be?
I will say that we're really blessed with how many different types of restaurants are here in the city. And I think it's been a great thing for raising a family. I've been here now, I'm a blow-in in 30 years.
I'm glad you admitted that.
I have the t-shirt. But being able to expose the kids to so many different cultures has been like everything we would hope for. And I think that's the thing that I like best about it. We're always learning something new.
This has been a fabulous opportunity. I'd like to say we practically started together here in the city. In the next few days, it'll be two full years for me in the city, and I know you're right behind me from the school department jumping into the city, and I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed it. Your leadership and your dedication to the city is second to none, and I believe that all of these things that are going to be happening in the year, 2 years, 3 years to come, in large part is due to your professionalism and moving the ball forward and trying to get to yes at every step. I thank you so much for being here, and I thank you for your hard work and your dedication to the City of Lowell. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in to Lowell Current, episode 4. I'd like to remind everybody, if you're interested and want to know more about wastewater and sustainability, to please check out episodes 2 and 3. I think you'll find it wonderfully entertaining and especially informative. It's vitally important. The Commissioner has been working with us and works with those two individuals in episodes 2 and 3 to make sure that we're moving forward, moving our city forward. Thank you again for joining us here at Lowell Current. I'm Tom Golden, your City Manager, and thank you very much, Commissioner. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.